Make sure that you are in an extremely comfortable seat or any restorative pose that feels utterly perfect to you. Metta practice is all about taking exquisitely good care of ourselves, so we have to start with the physical body. And take a few long and deep breaths, especially breathing into the heart center, the very center of the chest, the core of the heart. And notice the sensations that are arising there as you breathe. So remember that metta is a practice that meets you right where you are. So for this particular practice of metta, we will extend loving kindness towards oneself. So direct metta inwardly. And then at the end, we'll begin to radiate that metta throughout the whole of the self and then beyond. Okay, but we're going to focus today in our meditation on extending metta toward those parts of ourselves that we have the hardest time accepting. So identify some quality that perhaps you only see out there in the world, that you have a really hard time with, that you get really triggered by, and see if you can really own that quality for yourself. Just experiment trying to find that quality within yourself. And then imagining yourself really kind of overtaken by that particular quality. Begin to extend metta toward yourself in that moment when you are overtaken by that quality. So in the midst of whatever that quality is that you have chosen, extend yourself metta. May I be safe in the midst of this particular darkness. May I be happy in the midst of this particular difficulty. May I be free from suffering, or may I relax into the pain that is this moment, so as to not create that resistance, that internal resistance that ends up perpetuating the suffering, that ends up kind of dragging it out. And may I be filled with loving kindness, filled with metta. So notice all of the sensations that arise in your body as you breathe. As much as possible, anchor this practice of metta in the physical body. Use the phrases to keep the mind present with what you are doing. And just as in any other metta practice, if you notice that the mind wanders wildly away, notice where it's gone. Feel the energy underneath the pull of the mind. Connect with that raw energy. And if you notice that you've been pulled out into some material where there is some underlying raw energy that seems quite suitable as a focus for your metta practice, then stay with that for a moment. Send the metta there for a moment, or for as long as you need to. And then when you can, come back to whatever that quality was that you identified at the beginning that you find really difficult in the world, that you maybe project onto the world, and owning that, coming back to that inside yourself, finding where that lives inside yourself. Extend metta to yourself, right there in the middle of yourself where you're in relationship with that quality. May I be safe. May I be happy. May I be free from suffering. May I be filled with loving kindness. Remember that this is a practice that relies quite deeply on our somatic experience, our experience of being embodied. So keep bringing yourself back into awareness of the body, letting the body soften as you extend and receive the metta. May I be safe. May I be happy. May I be free from suffering. May I be filled with loving kindness, filled with metta, overflowing with metta. May I be safe. May I be happy. May I be free from suffering. May I be filled with loving kindness.